Did you know that an African man without hair is just an African man with hair without hair? Anyways, they've posted a new blog today. Very exciting. First thing I noticed with this blog, if we open this image in a new tab, look at the quality of that image. Somebody just took a screenshot with like Gyazo, saved it, and then uploaded that. Like, that is tragic. You can't be doing that. So right away, what is this blog for? It is for a new boss thing. Here it is, Delve boss, the Doom of Duma. People are going to call this thing Duma for sure, and that's what it's going to be. Before we go any further, appreciate you clicking on the video. Honestly, I do appreciate it. It is big. It is big that you've done this. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe, like, immediately. Like, go click it right now. I'm not kidding. I'm not messing around. Put a like and then comment below. What is your favorite soft drink of all time? Flavor and everything. Is it Coca-Cola vanilla? Is it cranberry ginger ale? What brand? Anyways, just, it's fun to read that kind of stuff. So what we've got here is a new boss coming with Varlamore Part 3. I'm hoping they have a Varlamore Part 4 and they could call it Varla 4, so that would be good. Now, this is, you've mastered the Colosseum, you've pacified the Mokhaiotl. Now it's time for another terrifying boss monster, the Doom of Mokhaiotl. Mokhaiotl? I'm going with Mokhaiotl. So it is going to be a demon creature. So that's interesting because we have our new demon items from Tormented Demons. So sharpen those, get them ready for this. This will be good at this boss. This is called an Enrage boss. Now they've changed it from Enrage to Delve, just wording wise. It doesn't change anything really, but this boss is going to be called the Osteoporosis. And when you defeat it, it will descend further into its burrow. Chasing after deeper levels increases the chance of receiving unique drops, and some of these will only appear at more dangerous levels. Now we're going to get into what are these rewards. I just wanted to lay the foundation quickly of what the heck is this boss, how does it work, what am I getting myself into, just so you kind of expect what it is. It's an endgame boss. It's aimed at players level 120 or above who have got their infernal cape. Now, it's funny, they use wording above that says if you've gotten your own infernal cape, which is really funny because they just, acknowledge that people buy infernal capes. Every time you defeat this boss, it will go one wave deeper, and then basically you're going to have a chance at those items. It gets better. It's the Colosseum. It's just the Colosseum. The only difference, though, is when you get to the final wave. Where is it here? What does it say? When you get to the final wave, it doesn't say it on this screen. When you get to the final wave, you can keep repeating that final wave until you run out of supplies. I hope that is not just like the clear meta for farming rewards. Like, if you could just do wave 12 of the Colosseum over and over and over again, you would be farming rewards like crazy because the boss fight isn't that long. So with this too, I hope that final wave that you can repeat doesn't just like spoon feed you crazy rewards. Just make it good for like PBs and people challenging each other for who can go deeper, stuff like that. But I can't go very deep because, size. Yeah, you're going to get some increased boss attack rate, some smaller reaction times for specs, lingering arena state from previous levels. So that's what's going to make it so eventually this does end. You're just going to have like lava all over the floor and you can't avoid it. There's going to be additional mechanics, which is cool. Environmental changes after level 5. So extra damaging effects, which can be avoided. Additional fight mechanics and special attacks. It's just going to take all of the top mechanics that they use for everything, and they're going to put them all in together. Here's a weird idea I had the other day. You know the gauntlet that like lights up tiles on the floor that you're not allowed to step on? What I think they should do is they light up the whole floor, and it looks like a Tetris puzzle something. So like the tiles, it looks random where the tiles are all different, and you need to like run through the tiles to like get to something. And along the way, the tiles are like red, green, or blue, and you need to protect from whatever those tiles are to survive. That's a cool mechanic that we haven't seen. Like, the tiles will damage you. If you're on a red tile with Prey Mage, you will take melee damage and you will just immediately die. So if you had to like avoid mechanics, so you're running around, you have to switch your prayers based on what the floor is below you. Put it into the game, Jagex. Hire me. So that's what the boss is. The rewards. They've just reworked the rewards in this second thing here, and there's basically the two big things that you need to think about. We are getting new best in slot boots. That is for all three styles. That is very cool. We are also getting a new mage cape. Originally, this was going to be the best mage cape in the game that's just better than... it was going to be the infernal cape, but for magic. It was going to be the quiver, but for magic. Finally rounding out those three, because Mage Arena 2 is a 20-minute like sub-quest in the wilderness for the best in slot mage cape that we currently have. But this is going to add a new cape. Now, it was going to be tradable. They're now making it untradeable. So they've pivoted on that. So first, let's handle the boots. What's the point of new best in slot boots? Well, it's time. Cerberus came out about 10 years ago, and those boots have reigned supreme for a long time. The other thing that you can see here, now, if you only have one pair of boots, so let's say this is our one pair of boots, I won't have boots on, you get nice clean 8-way swaps with all your styles, and it's just like, oh, it's beautiful. If you wanted to add in some boots with that too, then you're looking something like this, where it just looks bad. Like, you now have a 9-way swap, and obviously they're 4. It's we need an even number. We need either 6, 8, or 10. Even 10's too much, but yeah, 9-way swaps just suck because your inventory gets messed up. The hardest mechanic in the Chambers of Xeric is inventory management. If you screw up your inventory, you just die. Like, you can't live. It's too hard. So that's what we're getting from this tradable, consumable thing where you combine the 3 boots, and it makes you have just one pair of boots. Now, you're going to be able to change the color of these boots if you want, but I hope they just like look super cool and super badass. Hopefully they can do that. I'm wondering if they're going to go with like Amulet of Rancor color, something like that, because the Rancor doesn't match anything right now, and I'm thinking they're going to just go down that trail of like the, high-pitched green. I don't know how you want to call it, whatever. So that's what the boots are. They're going to be tradable. You're going to make a ton of money off of these if you're a main that's camping and selling these, because I hope it's worth like 500 mil long term. I hope it's the equivalent of a piece of Torva, or more expensive. I don't want it to be the rarity of a Harm Orb or a Twisted Bow, but maybe something that's like slightly less hours to get than like a Scythe in like Trio Tobs. Like, I don't know, between 100 and 200 hours played to acquire these boots, I think would be a nice spot for them to sit. Whereas a T-Bow is like, 300-400 hours, a Shadow is 300 hours, a Scythe is 300 hours. Like, put them in the 100 to 200 range, similar to a piece of Torva. It's rare, but it's not like insane, and it would be nice to have that there. Now, the Eldritch Veil, basically, this is going to be a cape that has some good accuracy and whatever, a couple of prayer bonus and stuff like that. But it's gonna be guaranteed at level 8. I just got sidetracked there. We're adding a flat minimum hit of 2 as a passive effect. So unless you splash, if you don't splash, it will hit between 2 and your max hit. This doesn't increase your, the high end of your max hit, which is good. What it does do is it increases your DPS over time. And the way it affects things is if you get an extra, let's say you're just getting a bonus 2 damage. You're getting a bonus 2 damage every 5 ticks with a Shadow. Well, that's not as good as a bonus 2 damage every 4 ticks with a Trident or a Sangstaff. This also opens up and kind of reinforces the thought that a 3-tick magic weapon is coming, maybe even a 2-tick, and this just makes that stronger. So it's nice. They're handling... not only it helps with the Shadow, but it helps the Sangstaff and the Tridents even better, giving you a minimum hit of 2. So it's a weird way of doing it, but yeah, it's a better mage cape. I'm picturing this as being the equivalent of you go from the Fire cape, which is the Mage Arena 2 cape, and you're going to a Mythical cape. Mythical cape is like, it's a little bit better than a Fire cape. It's crush based. It's, specific. So instead of being crush based for magic, it's good for faster weapons like Tridents. Kind of a weird way of explaining that, but that's how I see this. Now, they specifically say this is not the Inferno. We don't intend the Eldritch Veil to replace the Inferno cape. It's Infernal, A-L, not O. Come on, man! But yeah, the Osteoporosis endgame boss, that's what they're calling it, Ostoyak, is going to be for the endgame players. You're going to be able to get this cool mage cape at level 8, and it does a couple of little things. So... This is a demon weapon. They also are going to have a niche reward of a demon bane thingy. It's a melee weapon, so it's going to be a crush based melee weapon. Currently, demon bane weapons don't have a ton of uses. As some of you remember, we got the similar feedback to the Venator bow. The Venator bow came into the game and it had barely any uses, and well, now it's really good at certain bosses. They added a use to it with the Whisperer. They added a use to it with the Colosseum. So they're basically adding a new demon bane two-handed crush weapon, like the it looks like Torag's hammers, where it hits twice, and that's kind of where they're doing it. It'll probably be very good at this boss, meaning do we want Inquisitors because it's a crush-based weapon, but they're going to lower the attack requirement to 70, make it a bit more in line of where it'll be useful right now. So that's the third reward, is this new demon-based dual hammers. So you've got the Ember Light for slash. It can stab, so I'm wondering if there will be a demon stab weapon coming eventually. And then you've got the mage one and the range one as well, the burning bow and the whatever staff. The thrall upgrade. There was going to be a thrall upgrade with as a reward from this thing, and they have scrapped it. That's all you need to know. It's very good. They're going to have a new boss, or a new quest coming out that you'll be able to upgrade your Book of the Dead. I'm assuming just getting rid of it. You won't need to use it anymore. It gives you another inventory space. So there's some other things in this blog here. If we scroll, it's huge. We got some new Slayer monsters, but the reason why I'm just not even going to touch on them is like the level 76 Slayer mob. It doesn't really do much. The Antler Guard, this is a offhand weapon, shield. It's a shield that gives you a ton of prayer bonus, 5 prayer bonus plus some strength bonus. So it's meant to be worse than a Dragon Defender, but have like really good prayer bonus. It's for people who are doing Slayer. Prayer pots on Iron Men is just awful. Like if you want to do Slayer and pray melee and just AFK, you're farming like hundreds of prayer pots before you can start doing that. So this helps a little bit in that department. Otherwise, there's nothing too notable from the update. This second blog handled a lot of the feedback that was being thrown around on the Twitters and the Reddits and stuff like that. And I think it's in a good spot. Again, quick summary. New boots, best in slot for all 3 styles. Never need to swap your boots again. We love to hear that. And then a new mage cape that is not going to be the equivalent of an infernal cape or a quiver. They still are leaving room for that to come at a later date. And then you've got a new demon bane weapon, which is going to be a double hitting bunkers, which will be kind of cool. Did you enjoy the video? I want to hear about it. Maybe you learned something that you didn't know before. Maybe you got thinking about what your favorite pop is. Comment your favorite ever pop or soda, depending where you're from. Or beverage lad, if you're from the Britland. Yeah, put it in the comments. I'm curious to hear. Anyways, I do think that it's very important that, you know, and when you really kind of sort of, and you know, at the end of the day, and, you know, realistically, and, you know, you kind of, you know what I'm talking about?